North Korea's nuclear arsenal ramps up. Experts say the risk of a nuclear attack does as well.
Scientists say it's the highest risk since the Cold War. We wanted to know whether Missouri would be ready. Tonight in a KRCG 13 special report, Garrett Bergquist shows us if it did happen, how and where you could protect yourself and your loved ones.
We also have rice. We have wheat, we have grains.
Ashley Parkinson likes to be ready for emergencies large and small.
Tornadoes, absolutely. We get tornado season. Earthquakes are definitely one to plan for. We've lost power here just because of the rains. We've had ice storms.
Experts say that strategy could work for a nuclear attack too.
Regardless of the type of catastrophic event or state emergency, there are common response objectives.
State Emergency Management Director Ernie Rhodes says the state prepares for any large-scale disaster. These can affect anything from public health to utilities.
Just power alone, we're so dependent upon power that, prepare for 30 days.
But nuclear attacks bring their own unique hazards.
If you're in the shock wave and the building collapses, then, you're pretty close to ground zero. You're not going to do well.
MU nuclear engineering professor Mark Prellis worked on arms control efforts in the late 1990s. He says proliferation increases the threat of nuclear terrorism.
North Korea, for example, we don't know what they would do if they got into a position where they felt threatened. They could be a source of nuclear weapons leaking to terrorist groups.
Nuclear bombs have only been used in combat twice, at Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II. Those images still resonate. Today's bombs could be even deadlier. Stevens Institute of Technology professor Alex Wellerstein created this map. It simulates nuclear blasts based on publicly available government data. We used it to simulate a 5-megaton blast over Jefferson City from China's largest intercontinental ballistic missile. Most buildings within 8 miles would collapse instantly. Anyone caught in the open as far away as Ashland would suffer severe burns. It would kill more than 54,000 people.
Try to find a building that is heavy construction, concrete, and to be able to get behind that barrier to shelter them from the exposure of the initial detonation, right? And then subsequently the fallout.
Experts say the fallout from an attack causes the most casualties, but is relatively survivable. The government funded shelters in public buildings early in the Cold War. Today, only shelter signs remain, such as this one on the Lincoln University campus. But Prella says any sturdy building would work.
Concrete is a good shield. Earth is a good shield. That shields you from gamma rays.
Prella says you should move to a basement or an interior room and seal off most airways.
You can use a duster insert as an air filter. This trick works for chemical or biological attacks as well.
What you want to do is make sure the radiation falls to a level that's low enough that you can leave the shelter and move out to an area of safety. And, maybe a few days, maybe a month.
Rhodes says preparing for more likely disasters such as storms and earthquakes means you'll be ready in case of nuclear attack. Parkinson suggests you start small.
When we go to the grocery store, we'll get 1 or 2 flats of canned goods, or we'll get a little extra flour, we'll get a little extra sugar.
Prella says mid-Missouri is not a high priority target, especially for terrorists.
And they would want to target a city such as New York where they get maximum exposure with the use of a single warhead.
But it doesn't mean it couldn't happen here. For all the hype about North Korea and her emergency preps, Parkinson says nuclear war isn't really on her radar.
If you have a preparedness, whatever comes, what may, you're going to be okay because you're not going to be afraid.
Reporting in Columbia, Garrett Bergquist, KRCG 13.
We have several materials related to this story on our website, krcgtv.com. You'll find more of Garrett's interview with Ashley Parkinson about how to keep supplies for any disaster. You'll also find a link to the nuclear blast simulator we used. And we built a map from 1960s government data showing the locations of old public fallout shelters right here in mid-Missouri.